आज की इस वीडियो में हम बात करने वाले हैं आइकॉनोग्राफी के बारे में। नाउ आइकॉनोग्राफी बेसिकली टू टाइप्स का होता है, ठीक है। एक होता है कि एक जो ऐप आइकन होता है, जो ऐप आइकन बना रहे हो तो उस टाइप का आइकन होता है। दूसरा होता है कि सिस्टम आइकन। ये सपोज देखो कि गूगल का पेज देखो, यहाँ पे ये जो सर्च का आइकन देख रहे हो ना, इसको हम सिस्टम आइकन बोलते हैं। और गूगल का जो एक्चुअल आइकन है, सपोज गूगल ऐसे गूगल सर्च किया, ठीक है, इमेजेस पे आया, इसका जो ये लोगो देख रहे हो ये बेसिकली हो गया इसका प्रोडक्ट आइकन और ऐप आइकन। तो दोनों टाइप का आइकन होता है, ठीक है। एक होता है कि ये प्रोडक्ट आइकन और ऐप आइकन, दूसरा टाइप का होता है सिस्टम आइकन। इसके साइड में देखो ये जो शेयर आइकन दिख रहा है, ये इसको कहते हैं सिस्टम आइकन। मैं तुमको दिखा रहा हूँ। और एक मटेरियल आइकन्स, पेज पर ना, ये जो पेज देख रहे हो तो यहाँ पे जो आइकन्स है, oh actually I should continue in English because this session will be recorded, so for further reference if anyone wants to actually watch the video, if they are not from India, that should be a big problem. So I think I should continue in English, and meanwhile at some parts I will do Hindi as well. So as you can see over here in the screen, all these icons are basically system icons. So as I told already, there are two types of icons, okay. And in this video I am going to talk about iconography. So there are two types of icons. First one is the product icons, and second one is the system icons. What are product icons? Product icons are basically something like app icons. As you can see from over here, this Google G icon is a product icon or is app icon. And what is the system icon? On the left side of the Google icon, you can see a small share icon. So that is the system icon basically. So system icons are basically those you can use in a basically UI or something like that. Roki, are you comfortable in English, or where are you from actually? Which country are you from? Can write in chat. Roki, which country are you from? Malaysia, okay. नहीं, भोजपुरी नहीं चला. So as I told earlier, Roki just joined, so I'm going to tell you once again that we're going to talk about iconography today. And there are basically two types of icons. One is the product or app icon, and another is the system icons. These ones you see over here, all these are system icons basically. Okay. You see the heart icon, the like icon, so on, the bookmark icon, all these are system icons basically. And this is a product icon. You see the Google logo, this is a product icon or an app icon you can see. And this one to the left of that icon is a system icon. So for today's video and for next couple of videos, I will only talk about product and app icons. Then I will gradually move into system icons as well. So now what you need to do is open a new tab and go material material.io to this website, material.io. So this website opened for material design, and you will see all the guidelines for iconography, text, everything you need to do for making an app or something like that. Okay, so we are going to go to the guidelines section. Okay, we are going to the guidelines section. I'm going to go to steps. The same website actually. Now I want the iconography, so I'm going to click over the iconography, and I'm going for the product icons. As I told you already, there are basically two types of icons. One is the product icons, this is the system icon. Animated icons, will not be doing animated icons. Okay, so I'm going to go to the product icon section. Now in this page you will see all the guidelines that are required for making a proper product icon or app icon. Okay. First and foremost, product icons are the visual expression of a brand and product. Okay, that's all you need to do. Now for the grid, we need a grid. What are grids basically? So what are grids? Grids are something like this. Suppose I make a grid over here right now. Okay, these lines are way too thick. Make them 0.10. So these are basically grids. These grids will give you an idea of the extent of the design basically. So how much your design is extending or not, and how much clearance is required or not. So these grids basically give you an idea about that. Now jump on to the grid section. So when creating an icon, view and edit at 400% at 192 by 192 dp. So when you are going to create our project, we should create the project at 192 by 192 pixels. Okay, and we should view the document in at 400%, but you can actually view it at whatever zoom percentage you want for your preference. Okay, so 400% is something which will give you a proper correct alignment and sharp. You can properly preserve the ratio. Actually, you can see it properly. So that's what it gives us. Now we have certain key lines. These are the grids. Okay, as I told you over here, these are the grids. Now what are key lines? You see over here, these are the key lines. Okay, and you can either make them yourself, and you can also download from this website as well. I will show you from where you can download this. Okay, now these are key lines. Okay, now as you see over here, I am going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, I am going to zoom in. That's little too zoom. Now as you see over here, you see a circle, you see a vertical rectangle, you see a horizontal rectangle, and you see a square. All are rounded off. Okay, these are basically key lines. So these key lines will now coming to the actual part. You see over there the highlighted square part with the rounded corners. So if you are going to make an icon which has a square background, okay, so you are going to make the icon within this boundary. So if you are going to make a circular icon, you should make it within this circular boundary. As similarly, if you want to make a vertical rectangle icon, so you should make within this boundary, this given boundary. Also similarly, if you want to make a horizontal rectangle icon, so you should make this within this boundary. Okay, now the icons are basically arranged in layers actually. So the object which should be at top, or the proper icon itself, it should have a separation with the background. That's why we use a drop shadow property. As you can see over here, beneath this layer there is a shadow like thing. So that is a drop shadow. Okay, from here you can clearly see on the 5 mark, the 5 one, the shadow. See, now understand all these layers. Okay, first one we'll leave the finished part first as of now. Number 2, this is our background. Number 3, material foreground. This one is the foreground. Okay, now number 4, you can do the color or as well some other foreground structures as well. And for the background part, you should give a beneath the background you should give a drop shadow property. Now this should be more clear to these guidelines. Okay, you can also go to this website and side by side, and you should actually see them yourself. But you should basically remember one thing, only one thing, that is you should not go out of these key lines. You should not go out of these key lines, otherwise the icons will look bad and out of proportion, and also may be cut off from the screen. Okay, so you should not go out of these key lines, and anything you do, other than that is perfectly fine. These guidelines what are given over here are just for the sake of the purpose that you can create it very fluently, but it doesn't need to be that way. Basically any designer will design their icon or whatever graphics they are designing in their own way. It doesn't necessarily have to be that Google has specified me this kind of design language, so I have to design that way. No, you can create your own design language, you can create your own specification and design according to that. But just remember one thing, please do not place your any object of your icon outside these key lines, okay? Otherwise they look cropped or bad, okay, or not properly aligned, okay? Now we're going to come to this part, tinted edge and shaded edge. What are these? I'll go into more depth about this when I actually jump onto the design, okay? Now this finish and contact shadow are actually not required. Contact shadow, okay, we're not going to do this because these are actually very old guidelines, and in today's perspective we do not actually do this kind of stuff, okay? But it also depends on what kind of design you are doing. Now for the drop shadow, Google has given a guideline that the mode should be normal, the opacity should be 20%, x offset should be 4 dp, y offset should be 4 dp, and the blur should be 4 dp, okay? Now for my design purpose, I actually don't follow this guideline. For my design, the mode is normal, okay, and the opacity is 10%, x offset is set as 0 dp, y offset is set as 4 dp, blur is set as 4 dp. Now for the color part, what is the color? You can see over here, this is a pink color. Now you can create a shadow with a black color as well. So refer to the tint, shade and shadow values. What are these? I am going to go more in depth, and what are these drop shadow, metrics. I will go more in depth. Okay, so don't worry about this right now. I'm just giving you a just overview of these guidelines. This tint and edge. Okay, this tint and shade. Okay, edge properties. I'll go to that later part. Now for some guidelines. Now you see over here, material elements have a tactile surface when combined with color. This surface can produce numerous unique combinations. Color is flushed with an element surface because color itself has no depth. It doesn't contain edges or shadows. So basically, what they are saying that when you are suppose making a color like that, you should not add drop shadows like this. But what I found was that in my case of design language, I usually add this kind of drop shadow, because it separates the foreground layer from the background layer, but it may not be necessary always, okay? It may not look good always. So it all depends upon what kind of design you are going for. You see over here, there are too much separations. This way you should not add too much separation like this. One or two separation between layers is okay, but don't add too many layers with too much separations. How you can create the separation? Basically adding the drop shadow value will give you this depth effect or separation effect that you see actually on my designs as well. Now for this coding, basically they are saying the design should be basic, very simple. Don't overcomplicate a product, app icon or a system icon. No unnecessary overcomplication is required. Now this overlap, effortless, these are not actually required for you for now. They are basically saying just don't do this kind of designs. They don't look good. Don't distort or transform product icons. Don't do this. Okay. So that was all about it that you needed to know. Just a basic overview. Since I'll be going more in depth about it. Now, where can you download the grid and a grid file from? Okay. So you go to the resources, as I told you earlier, go to the material.io website, then go to the resources. From here, you can go to the icon section. Sorry, my bad. Icon templates. Okay, it's no problem because can I get the 10%? Search over here, icon template. Oh, my zoom is way too much. Let me zoom out. I'm going to calm down over here. This one, this icon design templates. Go to this one, and the file will start downloading. Now I already have it downloaded over here, and I exported it. And you will get two files, one for the product icon design and another for the system icon design. So let's open up the product icon one. So this is something it will look like actually, okay. But in my use case, I don't actually like this kind of design because it's way too messed up and complicated. But this is actually nice, but I do not want this kind of clutteriness. So that's why I created my own layout. So I'm just going to straight into that layout. Okay, where is the template grid? This one. Now this is my simple template grid. Okay, it may not look so simple as of now, but it will look simple once I get more into it. Okay, so I have two layers. The layer 1 contains all the key lines. Okay, and the layer 2 is blank. When I disable the layer 1, you can see the layer 2 properly. So there is nothing on the layer 2, because on the layer 2 I will actually design the icon. So that's why the layer 2 is left empty. Okay, and on the layer 1 I have the guidelines. Now there are various kinds of designs actually. Okay, let's go to Google Play Store, because I want to look at some examples. What kind of designs we are looking for actually. Apps. Let me show you from over here. So these are all icons that I made for this update of Bilfi. And as you can see over, let's start with this Clement icon, Clement Kedel icon. Now this file is very small, that's why it may look blurred. But just to get an idea, what is happening with this icon is that there is a rounded rectangle boundary, and what is happening is that the background is a gradient background. Okay, and on top of that we have this white outer circle, and then another white circle with, and on top of this there is the K logo for that KWGT, signifying that it's a KWGT app. Okay, and underneath the outer white circle there is this white streaks of line, actually dotted lines, so giving a rounded appearance at the edge. I will show you how you can create all this. Okay, so this is about my kind of design language, and you can see over here in between all these layers, all the layers are separated by some kind of drop shadow. If I go more zoom, I cannot go I cannot zoom more. Okay, so you can see over here there kind of some shadow. If I didn't add the shadow, the icon will be flush with the background. Okay, so now I go to suppose I go to a Nebula icon tab by ES5. Suppose I download this image. Now look at this. The icons are the Nebula icons are kind of like Bilfi icons actually, but there are certain things going on with this icon that actually doesn't correspond or actually doesn't look similar to Bilfi icon. Okay, first of all, he has his own design language. Okay, so you see over here his gradients are much more subtle and much more, there is a darker bottom part and there is the very light upper part of that same color. In my case, you look at that with that Clement icon design, what I did was that the two gradient colors are not same. Okay, ideally it should be something like this color should be the darker variant of that color, and then it should have a lighter color. Something like that is done over here with Nebula. With all the icons you see, basically there is darker portion and then there is a lighter portion of that same color basically. And it also depends on what kind of app icon you are designing. Suppose the app icon is made in such a way, the actual app icon, because we are creating these icon pair apps basically to replace the actual icons. So we are trying to conserve the modality or the main look of that icon without much distortion. We are just going to apply some styles of our own, but that's about it. We are not going to change the icon to that extent that you will not be able to recognize the icon actually. So we'll design the icon, but still you will be able to identify which icon this is for. Okay, so which app this is. So that's basically is done. So as you see over here, again the bottom part is dark, the upper part is the lighter variant of the same color for Nebula. And also see over here, in my case there are some kind of edge effect which is not usually given for Nebula. There is obviously some kind of separation with the drop shadow properties, but there is no actually, there is actually no, what do I say, the edge effect is not so prominent with Nebula. And you see over here, in my case almost all the layers have this drop shadow property, but with Nebula only the main foreground part has the drop shadow property, and anything above the foreground part, some other added element, something like this. Look for this one. This is the orange background with the white head and the yellow brain. Okay, so this is the background, the orange part. The white part is our foreground, and this yellow brain is our foreground element. Now for this white part, you see over here around the white part is something dark. Okay, this is our drop shadow, but around the white this yellow brain there is no dark something. So you see over here the foreground has some drop shadow property, but that added foreground element, that means this brain, yellow brain, has no drop shadow property. So there are certain things that sets all the icon designs apart actually. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at some other icons. Suppose a line icon. Suppose a line icon tab. Now there are obviously lots of icon packs. I go to this one. Okay. No, I just keep it very simple and go with the just solid black icon. I go to leave. Now for these icons, look at that. Now see over here that this doesn't have any actually backgrounds and foregrounds and drop shadows, something like that. They are just line based icons. There are no gradients as well. These are just plain line based icons. So they also need, because these icons have their own design language. Okay, so these are various kinds of icons you can actually make. You can also make flat icons where you will have no drop shadow properties between the foreground and the background. Okay, so these are various kinds of designs you can actually do. It all depends upon what kind of designs you will do. So in this today's video, I'll actually make one or two icons with the Bilfi theme in mind. Okay, I'll design some icon for the Bilfi theme. Okay, what is the Bilfi theme? As I said earlier, I make my icons like this. You see, all of these icons are for my Bilfi update. And what happens over here is that I have a gradient background. Okay, I open this one. Suppose like this Clement one. Okay, I have a gradient background. Okay, and there I have the foreground and the other foreground elements, and all the other elements are separated or given a depth with the drop shadow properties. That's all. Okay, I may make some other modifications as well, but I try to keep the actual design intact. Okay, for this check for this which one, which icon actually is close to the, okay, the forest icon. This forest icon, you see over here on the leaves, you see at the bottom part there is a dark outline something. Okay, this leaf is something a greenish, a light greenish one, and this one is a dark green, the edge part, because I gave it a edge property. Similarly, you see over the top part there is something as a light edge property. So this is something called as edge property, and I try to keep the design as close to original as possible for it. Okay, I want you guys to recognize the app immediately as you look at the icon. Okay, I don't want to make an icon which completely sets off from the original icon. Okay, so let's start off with the icon itself. So, and also if you want my grid, this grid is actually made by me, and I made another modifications of this grid for the designing of Bilfi icon that I will actually open right now. So if you want any of these grids, please DM me requesting for these grids. I will send you personally. Okay, also as I told you earlier how you can download this grid as well, and I do not like this grid because you see over here there are too many layers. You can actually make them into one layer, but I'm not going to waste my time doing all this. Okay, so that's why I keep it simple, keep it short, and I just made a grid of my own. Okay, so let's start off with today's design. Now for today's design, wait a bit, because I want to design for the next Bilfi update. So I have to design something that was requested by users for the next update. Okay, I think it's safe to open in this page right now. Okay, lots of codes are being shown, so I will not do that. Okay, let me open once again. Just wait for a bit, okay? Okay, so there are lots of icons over here as I see requested by users that I have noted down for next design. Okay, let's start off with something called as Instander. This has been requested, this app icon has been requested by many. Okay, so I'm just going to search Instander app icon first. I'm going to take a look at the icon itself. Okay, if I don't know what the icon actually looks like. So this is actually the icon. Okay, Instander, it's a modded Instagram icon. Okay, modded Instagram icon. So this is what this looks like actually. Okay, so I have to now comes to the actual part. So I have to think about how I can design this icon. Okay, how I can actually make changes to the original icon but still keep the main design intact. Okay, so I'm going to design something like this. First I'm going to search over here Instander icon. That should give me the actual icon over here. This is the actual icon, I suppose. Yes. Now I'm just going to download this image. I'm going to download this image because I have to trace certain parts of this image. Now I'm going to disable this bottom layer. Before I do that, as I told you earlier, I have my own custom layout, custom grids for the designing the Bilfi. Okay, I'm just going to close the earlier document, this one also. Okay, let's keep this for now. Now you see over there, this is my new grid, and currently most of the icons are being made with a rounded rectangle, rounded square background. So that's why I kept it over here, and behind this layer you have all the other key guidelines. Basically this is the same, just a slight modification has been done. Okay, now I downloaded the icon over here, the PNG file. I'm just going to drag and drop it over here. I'm just going to paste it below, and I'm just going to expand so that all the actual boundaries of the icon are proper with my grid. And I am also going to try to center it actually up with the up and down key, because this is a 192 by 192 pixels, you know, project. So how you can create a 192 by 192 pixels project? Just going to show it. File, new, 192 by 192. Okay, it should be pixels. I'm just going to go so I'm not going to create it, because the grid file is actually in the 192 by 192 pixels, you know, orientation. So I don't need to do it right now. So now comes the actual part. So this is our icon. Okay, so I am going to create it. Now as you see obviously over here, the roundedness of the actual icon is way more. So I have to round the icon much more. Okay, I'm first going to change the what do you say, the bounding box color. As I told you earlier, double click on the layer icon, then change the color according to your need. Since the icon is in kind of pink shade, so I'm not going for a pink shade, I'm going for a green shade. That should, the green shade is way too green. Let's go for a dark blue. That's also looking good. Dark blue should go for. Okay, it's somewhat visible. Okay, so I have to round off the rectangles even more. So as I told you earlier, since I designed my icons, you know, very, you know, to the proper level, so properly, that's why I have to, you know, click all the corners and leave one corner. As I told you earlier, just leave one corner while press and hold the shift key and select all the corners except one corner, and for the last one just double click on it, so you'll see this pop up. Okay, and I told you also what will happen if you click all the icons then double click on it, one corner will be left out actually. So I have to increase this one. So 45 seems nice. Let's go for 50. Should I do 50? Yeah, 50 seems nice. Okay, now this is a 50. Now you see over here there is another rounded rectangle inside this rectangle. So how I can create that? I can create it like that. I have to create this layer again, and then I have to drag the shape inside. I'm going to show you. Okay, just copy this rectangle, copy and forward, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, then drag it inside. Okay, then just decrease the roundedness. This is how I can do it. Okay, I can also do it by offset method. Okay, so I have to create the select the background first, the background rectangle, then go to objects, then go to path, then offset path. This way you can just create a perfect offset. So I have to go to the minus part. You see over here, I'm going to the -4 pixel right now. If I go to the minus part, the new object will be created on the inner side. If I go to the plus part, then the new object will be created on the outer aspect. Okay, so I needed something like that. Okay, 15px seems nice. Also, you see over here, the roundedness is also good enough. So I have to keep it like this. Now what I can do over here, I just create a circle at the center. Okay, this one. Now go to another. I can also just replicate the layer and then extend the layer, extend the shape to match the outer shape. Okay, I can also go the opposite. Now, as I told you, minus part will be for the inside, and if I go to the plus one, it will be for the outside. Let's go for the plus. Make sure you turn on the preview to see the changes actually. Also 15px. Now I need another circle. Now I have to just place it. Now I'm just going to extend this to the right side. Shift and click and hold outwards. Press shift, then click and hold outwards to keep the shape intact. Otherwise, you know, it is a ellipse tool basically with the radius same. That's why it is a circle. So if you do not press the shift, it will turn into an ellipse. Okay. So that's why you have to press and hold the shift. Now this is the outline of my icon. You see, I turned off the background color. So this is my outline. Now, as I told you earlier, I have a background. I actually use a background with a gradient. So I have many gradients actually created. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you how you can create the gradient actually. So I'm just going to create a square over here. I'm going to create another square. Okay, let's just sample this color and make it white, and let's just copy and paste. So this is my actually color swatch, new color swatch. I can do it from the swatch panel also, but this is how it is. I'm going to turn on this one, and with this being selected, I just sample this color. Okay, now I have to disable the bottom part. Okay, one would have been enough. Now when I go to the gradient, I need a gradient for this one. So you see over here, the fill, there is no fill color currently, but there is a stroke color. But I need a gradient on the fill, not for the stroke. So I have to make sure it is currently on the fill. And if I go to the gradient, turn on gradient now, you see I have the gradient, but I also have the stroke color, but I don't want the stroke color, so I have to disable it. Other way you can do it is that with the object selected, just click anywhere, just sample a color and then go to gradient. So you don't have to manually go to the stroke and disable it. That's why I like this approach. So this is a linear gradient, as I told in earlier class, the last class. This is the linear gradient. So I have the two colors, one is a dark color, one is a lighter color. So for the dark color, I'm going to click on the gradient color picker tool, and this I'm going to select this color. Also for this color, I'm going to select this color. Now this is not a gradient right now, and I'm going to double click on this lighter color, lighter one, and go to HSV mode. So HSV mode, I'm going to drag this one to the right and this one to the very left. So you see over this color, this color has become lighter. That's I actually wanted, even more lighter. I'm just going to make it towards a bit red. Okay. Now I'm going to for the making modifications to the this color as well. I'm going for a slightly reddish appearance. Okay, make it more red. Okay. Now I don't want the gradient from this left side to the right side to the left side. Okay, I want gradient something like in an angle. I preferably keep my angle at -60 degree. So this is something it will look like the gradient. Okay, I disable everything, hide everything. So this is how the gradient will look like. Okay. Now for this part over here, okay, so this was our design actually, and you see, as you saw in the design, let's go to this design. This white, there is the central white part, and this rectangle is just separated from the inner part. So I'm just going to show it like this. So for this central circle, I'm going to create, I'm just give it a white color, and then for the other part as well, this one I'm going to for this one I'm going to give a white color. Now both the layers will merge actually, so you will be able to see it actually. Now I'm going to do a minus front. Okay, what does minus front mean? Minus front means you have two objects, okay, one above another, and when doing a minus front with the Pathfinder tool, anything that object that is in the front will be cut out from the background object. So I'll show you right now. So I click on this circle object, and then I click on this rounded rectangle object, the white one, and then I do a minus front. So as you see over here, I see over here, this is our set. Now if I change the color, you will be actually properly able to see. I change it to blue. The inner white part is gone. That's what a minus front does. So what does a minus front do? That object that will be in front will cut out that part from the beneath object or the below object. So I had a circle and I had a rounded rectangle. The circle was in front, so the circle will cut off that circular part from the below rounded rectangle. So that's what I wanted. That's why I did this. Okay, now this will be like this. Now if I do this, the icon will look very similar to the actual one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decrease the opacity over here to 50% for the flip. It is looking good or not? It's probably not looking that good. Okay, I can also do something in gradient for this one. Okay, just here like this, change the direction, and for this one I'm going to select a color that is even more lighter. Will that do? Will that look good? So it's all about trial and error. Okay guys, you want your icon to look a specific way. If that doesn't look that way, you have to just make modifications. No, it doesn't look that good. That I have to create a gradient and then it will be like this. This one I want both colors to be undo. This color to be white as well, this color to be white as well. Now this color I want the opacity to be something like at 50% and change the opacity of the whole layer to 30%, something like this, and change the angle to is good. Okay, I'm just going to change the opacity to 50%. Okay, this is looking better. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to like the design. Okay, because it is my design and I am doing it my way. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that you have to like the design. Okay, you may or may not like the design, so that's entirely up to you. I'm just going to make it a little more small, something like this. I actually also do not like this design currently. Let's see what happens if I do something like this. So as I told earlier, it's all about trial and error, guys. Select the solid icon. Select the solid color. What I can do over here is that I have to release the compound path, then delete this one. This one I can do this one, and for this part I can do this also. And for this one, I do on this. Okay, this one I can do something like this. This looking good? No, this is also not looking good. So I have to come up with something actually. Okay. Okay, this is something I want. Okay, I'm going to do another offset path. 10 should be nice for this one. 15. This one also. We'll take the color of this one. Okay, and I'm going to drag everything a little bit more inside. See over here. Not looking good. Okay, I'll keep it like this as of now, but I'm not entirely happy with the design of this icon actually for now. Okay, so as I told you earlier, the edge part, what happens is that there is something a darker in some darker color at the edge, and at the top of the edge there is a lighter color that gives a something is a something edgy look. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to create 4 copies of the same thing. I'm going to do it for almost all of the layers. Control C, Control F for the background one 4 times. So I should have 5 layers of that same thing. Now I'm just going to select the top object, and then I'm going to click on the arrow button twice for a 2 pixel edge. If I want a 1 pixel edge, I'll go for I'll press the arrow key 1 times, up arrow key. Now I have to select the bottom object also, then minus front, and then you see over here this edge part is selected out. Now I just select the darker version of the pink color and change the opacity to 10%. Okay, similarly I do this for the one. I press down key twice and then select the bottom layer and then do minus front, white, give the white color, change it to 10% opacity. Now you see over here what I was talking about. You see there is something as a whitish kind of edge, and on the bottom part there is something called a darker edge. I just change the opacity to something like 50% so that you see something a bit dark. That's why it sets you apart actually, sets that icon design actually apart. It gives more depth to the icon. You may or may not do this to your icon. Okay, it all depends up to your design. I am going to do this for this one also. Since it is a white object, so I do not need to create a white edge part for the top one. So I just need a bottom part. So I'm going to create 2 copies and then minus front. I'm going for this color. No, I do not want 2 pixels obviously. I want 1 pixel of edge. And this one, set the opacity at 10%. For this one also, 2 copies, 1 pixel edge. Take a color and then now I'm going to add drop shadow properties for these 2 objects. This white one and this white inner circle and this white outer this white square with a cut off circle inside. And I'm going to come to the effects tab, the appearance tab. You will find the effects part in the appearance tab, and if you don't find that, go to this effect panel over here, effect, and go to stylize, then drop shadow. Now as I told you earlier in the design guidelines, where is the design guidelines? Where was that design guidelines? Design, iconography, product icons. I'm coming down to this part. Okay, the drop shadow matrix. You see over here, mode normal, opacity 20%, X offset 4 dB, Y offset 4 dB, blur 4 dB. Now I have the same thing, mode normal, opacity. According to Google, it should be 20%, but for my design, I'll keep it at 10%. Okay, sorry, I pressed enter. Now for the X offset, it should be at 0, Y offset 4, and blur 4. 4. The color should be black for this design. I can also go for a something darker color of that pink, darker shadow of that pink. Okay, so you see now all the layers are being looking separated from the background part. You see over here, there's something shadowy thing. If I disable the shadow, it will look something like this. Okay, now it's looking plain. I disable the shadow now. It's looking flushed with the design. Now, as I created the edge properties this edge things. Okay, this edge dark things at the bottom and edge light things at the top, and this combined with the drop shadow property will give me that depth effect look. It will create that separation with of the foreground from the background actually. Okay, so that's why this kind of look. Okay, I'm just going to save it as of now. I'm going to save it inside my AI folder where all the resources are actually kept. Come down to the I folder where all the apps with the name I are saved, and the name of the icon should be over here starting with small letters, standard. Okay, I'm going to save it over here. I may make modifications to the icon because I'm not entirely happy with the design right now, but I'm just going to make it little smaller. Okay, this is good. This is good now. I'm going to save again since I made changes. Now I'm going to export the icon. Now what should be the criteria for your exportation? Go to export, then go to save for web. You have to select the PNG. Make sure the transparency is on, so only the icon is visible, and anything else outside the icon in the background should not be visible. The weight is 192 by 192, the percentage is 100. You can also make the icon at 288 by 288 pixels. Okay, but that is actually not required. Make sure clip to artboard is on, then save. PNG 24, it should be PNG, otherwise you will not get the transparency effect. Save. Now I already have the folder created for the next update. I should disable the inside timeline. This icon I created, I do not need it. I'm going to go again. Not here. 2.1. Save. Okay. So I can see my exported file over here in the 2.1 folder. You see, this is how the icon will look like, and I'm not entirely happy with the icon as of now, so I will make changes. Okay. So what I actually basically taught you from this icon, this the design that I did was not to teach you about the designing aspect, the whole mindset of aspect, but actually what tools you are going to use and how you can do certain stuffs. I told you about the gradient thing. I told you about how you can create the edge properties, these edge parts. Okay, I told you how you can cut out a section from an object. Okay, you can see over here this white round square has this inner circle cut out. Okay, and I also told you how you can do the drop shadow property. Now as I told earlier, I use a 10% opacity drop shadow. Now suppose if I used for the 20% drop shadow and also use the Google guidelines, so all the value should be 4, opacity 20%, and change it to I copy this color for future reference, change it to black. Now you see how much depth has been added. For my preference, this is way too much. I do not want this much of depth. Okay, that's why I prefer to go with the 10% opacity and 0x offset, with the color being set a darker version of the actual background color. Okay, now it is much more subtle right now. Okay, I'm going to close the icon for now, and I'm going to also show another icon. Okay, before I go to another icon, if you have any queries, please feel free to ask me right now. Either say in the chats or open your mic, turn on your mic and see if you want to ask me anything. Okay, so no one has any questions as of now. Okay, so next icon will be for wall rod. Okay, search the wall rod icon. You can get it from over here. Now see this icon. I will try to make this icon. Okay, so I'm just going to save it, because you know why I always save the actual icon before making the icon, because I want to trace the actual icon so that I keep my design as close to the actual icon possible. I do not make much more changes, but it is not actually required. You can just directly jump into the design and just make the design. It doesn't actually matter. Okay, so I'm just going to save image as. Now you see over here, this is a problematic part. When you save from the Google Play Store, it will save as WEBP file, and that this file you cannot import into the Illustrator. So I'm going to save it, and I have to also change the format of that file to JPG or PNG something before I can import the file into Illustrator. So this is our file, this is our image, and I have a file converter, handy file converter, so I can just change the file format directly from here. Just change it to JPG. Okay. So the conversion was bad because I set the properties to 30% of JPG. So I'm going to create it at PNG. Let's see. Okay, it's much better. So I'm just going to drag and drop over here and open my grid file again. All the icons should start from the grid file itself. Okay, you don't need to make the grid file over and over again for each design. Just create a grid file straight up, make a layer on top of it for the actual design, and just save it. And then for the next designs, just open up that grid and start off from there. Okay, I will place the icon over here. I will make it center, place it at the bottom. Then I will try to expand it so that all the boundaries are touching to that actual, my rounded rectangle. This one. So this is good as of now, because I can manually resize the icon later. So what I need over here, I am disabling the rounded rectangle for now. So I want a rectangle. So I go to the rectangle tool and create a rectangle. I'm just going to drag. I'm just going to press Shift, Alt, and click, and then drag outside. Now I have a fill color. I do not want the fill color because I want to see the edges properly. Now it is something a bit off, looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it to the bottom so that it's actually properly centered. Okay. Edit. So as I can see over here, this icon was actually not properly designed, or did not properly follow grid. Something happened in between. Okay. Now I'm just going to press Alt and drag the two edges. If I press Alt what happens is that if I just click and drag one edge inside, the other edge on the opposite side will also actually come inside. So you don't need to manually do this one and this one. Okay, you can just do at once. What I meant was that suppose I drag this edge without pressing the Alt, and I do this. Only this edge is just extending. This edge is not extending to this side. So I want the extension or the decrease symmetrical. That's why I press the Alt and then bring it inside. Okay. Now for the roundedness, I want the roundedness to be something like, let's see what goes good. 15. I don't want 15. I want something like 20. 20 for this one and 15 for the other parts as well. Okay. Now I have to. Okay. Let's copy and paste forwards. Okay. Now I have to make this two background rounded rectangle square. So I have to transfer and rotate. Let's see, rotate this by 15 degrees, I suppose. I need 15 degrees. Yes, 15 degrees was nice. At 15 degrees and manually adjust it. Okay. someone adjust it. Let's connect to that because I do not want that. Drag it inside. I just want that outer part. Okay, I don't need to actually change the roundedness of all the corners. This is good enough. Control forward, Control F, Control F actually. Okay, I'm just going to do it for the same for the opposite side. Okay, so this seems about nice and properly aligned actually. Okay, if it's not properly aligned, just select those two and just come outwards once and then drag inside. And we'll see. Okay. Now I'm just going to hide the bottom layers first. I have to create the mountains. So I open up the pen tool. I first click over here, then click over here. I have to click like this. Let's do it. Click something like over here. Okay, let's start from over here actually. This I did. I just drag it a little bit outside. Now I'll do again from this part. Okay. Now I click on this corner and you see the red dot is showing. That means I can change the corner radius of this corner. Now I can make it, I will make it like 10 pixels. I will copy the same thing and just bring it here for this one. I will press Alt and try to bring in together the sides so that will actually correspond. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty nice as of now. Okay, now for this light wavy thing over here, I can do is that I can just do something like this and then something like this, then like this. Okay, I'm just going to drag these corners. And then rounded. And that's how I made this wavy thing. Okay, I am going to delete this part actually, this anchor point, and then I am going to draw another from over here so that I can give it a more rounded. Okay, now I need this moon, so I'm going to create a circle. So this is all about geometry basically. You see over here, when I hide the actual icon, you'll see it's all about geometry. Okay, now I have these white dots for the stars that I will create later. Okay. You see over here the line thing. So this is actually your line. The proper icon should look like this. Is my base design. Okay. Now I'm just going to hide everything for now because I want to work with the foreground. So I have these two mountains that I need to cut out from this square. Actually I can make a shape, then I have to cut it out, because if the ends are not bounded, you cannot use this property. This is called intersect. So I already told you the minus front part. I will now tell you about the intersect part. But for these tools to work, you need the ends to be connected. So for this one, the end is not connected, so I have to connect the ends first. So I am going to go to the pen tool and join this. Okay. So now I have two objects. I am going to make multiple copies of this background rectangle, because as you know, when I do the minus front or the intersect, whatever layer for the intersect part, you see over here in the minus front, what layer is staying? The background layer is staying. The front layer is cutting out. You see, the front layer is, there is no color for the front layer, and for the background layer there is white. So whatever is in white will be staying. And for this intersect layer, two objects are intersecting each other, and whatever there is whichever part is intersecting, that part will only stay. So these two objects are intersecting each other, so only this part intersecting, okay, will stay. I can also do over here from that this shape builder tool and click on this part, so that would have been also nice, but I don't want to go into that hassle right now. So I just select the two shapes and then intersect. Now as I created the multiple copies of the bottom rectangle, you will not see. I disable it. See, I only have this part. Okay, so that's what the intersect will do. Intersect will take two objects, okay, two bounded objects, and then intersect whichever part is intersecting in between them and keep that, and will delete everything outside. Okay, that's what the intersect will do. Okay, now I have one mountain proper. For the other mountain as well, I will do the same thing. I will do it like this. First bound the edges of this mountain, because otherwise it will not act. Okay, let me show you what happens actually. If I just select these two objects and then intersect, oh, it actually took care of it, but sometimes it doesn't take care of it, so that's why you need to do. Okay, now I have this layer, this is all looking good. I have this one as well, I have this one as well. For this part, this wavy thing, I have to do also. I have to do is, I can also do intersect will not take place, because this is simply a line, so intersect will not actually work. Okay, if I press on intersect, you will see this will look like. Okay, I do not want it. I want it. This is a line, and the behind one is a shape. So I want this to divide. The line will divide the shape. So I will go to the divide. You see, the line has divided the shape into two parts, and it has been grouped. So I want to ungroup it. So I have to Control Shift and G while selecting the group. The two things has been ungrouped. Okay, now I'll keep both of them as of now. Now if I open the design, you see only the below part of that is actually white, so I can delete the upper part. This upper part I can delete. I have to keep actually that the lower part and give it a white color. That's all. Okay, so all my elements are ready as of now. So I have to start making the icon, building the icon. So I'll create some small rectangles, and these will act as my color palette. This I sampled of this edge color, and then another color. I will sample of this part of the color. This something like this. I'll also create and make a copy for this this mountain. This mountain has color something like this. This is the darkest part. This is the lightest part. Okay. For this mountain as well. Okay. For the background things I'll do later. For this one, I have to first just sample any color, then go to the gradient, select a gradient, and I have to select the two colors. For the darker color, I use the color picker tool, select this darker color, then go to this color, and choose this color. Okay. Now I can see I can do it like this. I want it like this because I do not like when the darker color is at the top. Okay. So I want to manually adjust this color. Bit light. Okay. I want another color to be inserted. So I just hover over it, and you'll see a plus icon. Okay, now you see a plus icon. You can just click on it and another color will pop up there. I will set the location at 50%. I want to make it symmetrical even. So I want to give it color something like this, a light. Okay, this is something like, okay, now come to this part. White. Let's see the design how it was. It was total white. So let's keep it that way. Now for the mountains, we have two mountains. For the left mountain, we have to do it a gradient also. Now do a gradient. Let's need these two colors. For the darker color, I need this one. For the lighter color, I need this one. So the lighter color needs to be a bit more light. Actually. Okay. Now I need a minus 90 degree angle. So the darker color will be at the bottom, the lighter color will be at the top. Okay. Now for this mountain, I also need a gradient. For the darker color, I need this one. For the lighter color, I need this one. The lighter color is not that light, so I have to make it more light. I have to adjust it myself. Okay. Now I go to the angle minus 90 degree. Now in the actual design, what was that? It was that this small mountain was behind this mountain, so I have to place this mountain behind this mountain. Okay. So whatever is on top is top at the front. Okay. This I want it to little a little darker. Okay. Now I have this wavy thing over here. I want to make this white. I want to make it white and give some opacity 15% so that it will be transparent, and I will shift to the. Okay, it is looking very bad actually. It's looking actually very bad. Where is it? It is right now. Okay, I will just give it some color actually. Open up this palette. Okay, I have given this color. Okay, now it's looking much more better. Let's shift. So this is what it was looking like earlier. Okay. For this part, I give this color. This visible. Okay, I just reverse the design actually. It is not looking good. Okay, this is much better, I guess. Delete this up. Give some color like this one. Darker one like this. This one much better. This is giving me more separation actually. Now for this, something like this and opacity to something like 25%. Okay, 25%. So I do that. I'll just keep it at 100. Okay, completely white. Make it a little smaller. Press Shift Alt and then make it small. Okay, so all the sides remain same. Okay. This part is done. Now I have to create the edge effect. Okay, so I have to click on this. I can delete all this. I have to select the background layer. Then I have to create make 4 copies of the background layer. I have to now for the bottom edge. For making the bottom edge, I have to press the up key twice. If I wanted 2 pixel, edge. Then go minus front because I only want this part. So what does the minus front do? There is a top object, there is a bottom object, and the top object will cut out the bottom object, and whatever left from the bottom object will be left. Okay, will be left as it is. So I have to give it a color, something like this dark color, and then change the opacity to 10%. Now you will not see it as of now. I have to make it come to the yes. Now I have shifted it to the front. That's why you will see right now. Same thing for the upper edge. And do something like this white. Opacity 10. Top. For this one as well. So just because I made my make my icons like this, that's why it takes a lot of time actually compared to other, because I add, if I didn't add this edge effects, I would have just saved a lot of time. I'm giving this white color as well, make it 10 opacity as I told earlier. And now for these three things I have to add the drop shadow effect. Drop shadow, what should be it like 10 0 4 4, and I'm going to go for a darker blue. Okay, darker blue. Okay, it's good enough. I can just increase the drop shadow to something like 15%. Oh, actually, I have to do make the y offset 2 and x offset 4 for this one, because this the shadow will be to the right side, not for the at the bottom part. So I want the shadow at the x axis, not at the y axis for this design. So I make the y offset less and increase the x offset. Now you see, it has shifted. Okay, it is now looking much more better actually. I want to give it something 25%. It's much more better. Now add the stars. This creates small circles like this. Make them white. Small dots. Okay. Just give them some opacity. Just give them some opacity. Something like 25. Okay. No, make it just 50. Right. Copy, forward, paste, and just spread it all over. That's how we make these stars. Now I'm just going to group them so that I can make modifications to them at once. I keep the opacity at 100 and Control G. I select all the objects, Control G, so I group them. Now I am going to change the opacity to 50%. Now see, they look a little too large, so I'm going to select them, make them smaller. This is looking much more better actually. I'm just going to do it like here. I'll go to the group, copy another one. Okay, so I can just make copy of this group again and just place it over there. So I can just delete some of them. Just suppose I need this one. I don't need this one. I don't need this one. So this is looking pretty much good right now. I have these 3 groups. This is looking pretty good in my opinion. I don't know anything else. I can make a shooting star as well. Okay. Something like this, a line. And then I have to go to the line property and I have to give it a stroke. Give it a stroke, something like 1 should be good enough. 0.75 should be good enough. Change the color to white. Now see over here, this stroke is uniform right now. First I have to make this stroke rounded. This is rounded right now. Now I have to change the profile to something like this one. Now look at this. It is looking like a shooting star. Okay. Okay, I can just also do something like this. This one is much better. Now I can change the direction as well. I have to click on this line, flip along. So I change the direction as well. Now if I want to make modifications to this one, I just change the opacity to something like 70%. I want to make the shooting star more bright. This is the shooting star. I can control it. Save this multiple. Okay, so this is all about this part. Okay, now I have to make the behind parts as well. This one, where is the other one? Where did the other one go? This one. Now let me take a look at the design. This one's a dark red orange to yellowish. This is a purple to pink. Okay, so let's make it that way. I'm going to give it a gradient color, linear gradient. So I have to go for -90. Then I'm going to change the color. First I'm going to select a darker red and then a yellow, something like a yellow tone. This one is very bad. Very bad looking. This red is very bad looking right now. This is looking much better in my opinion. Much better. This yellow needs to be a little light. Okay, this one looking much better. So I have to place it behind. I can just go to my reference design, just make it a little bit. I copied and reflected, then placed it on the same side. I'm just going to place centrally. That's what. Things. Now for this one I'm going to do the purple to pink. This one I'm going to select this purple. This is a little bit darker. Now for this one I'm going to select pink. This pink is looking much better. A little bit more pink. Pink is never enough, guys. Pink is a little bit more towards. So this is looking all good as of now. I'm just going to select everything and bring it to the center if anything has been realigned in the process or not. I'm going to just let me see my grids. Yes, it is aligned like that. Okay. See, just bulging out. What part is it bulging? What is bulging out? Okay, first see this one. This is the 22.82. I have to make the same thing for this one as well. Okay. Now it's looking flush. Okay. Okay. So our design for this one is almost complete. Now I give this the edge effect. 4 copies. Twice down, minus front, then white, then opacity like 10%, then twice up, but it will not make any changes, so I am going to just delete the 2 bottom layers. Copy and paste forward twice for only the upper edge. We don't need the bottom edge here because we will not be able to see the bottom edge actually. So why waste time creating one? Okay, so this is done and dusted. Now give this layer some kind of shadow. Okay, I want the Y offset to be 0 for this one. I want to give it a X offset. See, it's looking much better, much better. Before not particle to no particle. Yes. Go for drop shadow of 10%. Let's see what happens with 10%. 10%. Way too subtle. 15 was good enough. Okay, so wall rod icon is done. Okay guys, wall rod icon has been made. So this is how you make the wall rod icon. Okay, so I'm just going to save the project. I'm quite happy with the design. You may not be, but that doesn't matter actually, because the design is actually should be according to the designer's perspective. Okay, someone may like, someone may not like, but I cannot make any design thinking about everyone. Okay, so it always, all designs are like this. You may or may not like, it doesn't matter actually at the end of the day. It has to matter that what was the name? Wall rod. Okay, save it to the W folder and then export. Save for web, PNG, 10 transparency on, and then save to my 2.1 folder. Okay, so these are 2 icons made for the next update. I might change the instance icon. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure about that one. Okay, so I just made 2 icons following the Bilfi design. Tomorrow I will be talking about how you can make something with the following the nebula design. If you want to make an icon with a nebula design, so how you can make them, I will tell you also that, and some line icons or as well in next videos. Okay, so I hope I wasn't able to explain all the things properly today, because actually you need to install the Illustrator and then experiment yourself. Until and unless do that, you cannot see the things yourself. You cannot actually visualize the things. You will see these things that I am doing, but you will not be able to relate to it. So I see over here that currently three of you are here. So do you all have Illustrator installed? I know that Yog has installed. Suman and Roki, do you have Illustrator installed? Suman, you need to install the Illustrator right away. May it be torrent or just pay the price, whatever you can do, whatever the way you want. I'm not going to tell you what way you should do. But just looking at these videos, will actually yield nothing for you, because whatever I tell, just try to do that thing in the Illustrator. Open up the Illustrator and try to just do that. And if you just don't get it right, that doesn't matter. Just try, experiment yourself. Just use all the tools. Take all the tools. Just use the pen tool. Then try to experiment. Then, if you see you are not doing well with the pen tool, just go to YouTube and just type how to use the pen tool in Illustrator, and you'll get lots of videos. And you just see one video, and you will get a good understanding of the thing. Okay. So that's why you should do it like this. For this drop shadows, 50% was too much. 10%. Save again. Export, and then replace the icon. So sure. Yes. Just experiment yourself. Unless you experiment on yourself, you'll never be able to learn. Just seeing these videos, watching me do this stuff, it will look, it may look nice from your end, or sometimes it may look intimidating that how am I doing all these things that you are not being able to do. It all depends upon, Yes, really hope this class has been recorded too. I think the class has been recorded. Yes, it is being recorded. Time 133 minutes. So 1 hour 33 minutes is currently. So I think that was all about the class today. I hope you had been able to learn something. If you missed any point, or if you didn't understand a particular thing, please do let me know now. Or if you want to know something more, please do let me know. You can just turn on your mic and ask me. Yog, you want to say something? Hello. I can't hear you, Yog. Your mic is turned on, but I can hear you. Hello. I think Yog is having some problems. Suman, you want to say something? Or Roki, you want to ask anything? Yes, we can't hear you. Suman or Roki, if any of you want to know anything or understand something in much more depth, you can let me know right now. If you don't want to know anything as of now, you can just send me. Okay. Yog joined from another. Hello. Okay. Hello. I will see through again and reach out after the trial. You're sure? हाँ बोलो. हाँ इंग्लिश में बोल दो रोकी में. select similar. Which part? I didn't get it. Oh, the. Oh, okay. The select similar property. Okay. So suppose that look over there. I just make these circles. Okay. I have this circle. I create multiple circles like that. Okay. Now see, I have a design with all these circles, and the design is very complex. Okay. You see over here there are 4 circles, and you may see in the design that there are thousands circles like that, thousands, even hundreds circles like that, and you cannot go on selecting each circle. Sometimes they may not be arranged in a group. For my part, I arrange them in a group for better better usability. But in some designs you may see that all the icons are not arranged properly. So what you can you have to just manually select them. But what you can do is that you can just select one thing, one object. Okay, and you can go to object. Object. It was object. Select. Select. Then go to same and appearance. You can go from appearance, fill color. Suppose I go to the fill color of one. So any object, you see over here, any object with the same fill color will be selected. Now I undo. Now select same or object. Okay. Same appearance. So all the things that with the same appearance have been selected. Now go again. Select same object, all on the same layers. All on the same layers, object has been selected. Okay. Then again, select same shape. Now all with the same shape has been selected. This moon circle, also the dot circles as well. Then go also select one and then select. I'm showing you all the possibilities over here. Okay. Select same fill and stroke for all this with the fill and stroke same properties. Okay. Same. Okay. Stroke weight, opacity, stroke color, blending mode, doesn't matter for now. Okay. Same object, clipping mask, bar strokes. You see all these properties are over here. So you can select multiple things at once with the same kind of property like this. Okay, what Yog was trying to say. Or if they are just separated like that, just grab and drag your mouse over them and that's very easy. But if they have the same property, you can select them like that. That's what I was trying to say basically. Okay, or Yog was trying to actually explain it to you guys. Anything more you guys want to know? Thank you. So I guess no one wants to know anything more for today. So I highly request Roki and Suman to Suman doesn't have Illustrator, so just go and install the Illustrator and just start experimenting yourself. You both of you start experimenting yourself, because your Yog already knows about most of these things. Yog knows about Illustrator. He works on Illustrator, makes wallpapers, designs. So Yog knows most of this stuff. Yog is just here for the purpose that if he gets to learn something extra, that's for it. But he knows most of the stuff that I am doing. But for you guys, you just need to install the Illustrator and just start experimenting on yourself. Go through my videos and just try to replicate for now what I am trying to do. Then experiment with those tools or those shapes. And if you want to know in depth about those tools and shapes, go to YouTube and type Pathfinder tool. Okay, on YouTube, Pathfinder tool in Illustrator, and you will see. Sorry brother, I need to experiment to know what I'm not catch up. I still crawling. It's okay. It's perfectly alright. That's why I told you, if you have Illustrator installed, just try to experiment, just try to experiment and see how all these things work out. This design, to make this design or to where I am at now, you are seeing me at this stage. I installed Illustrator back in 2013. Okay, first installed Illustrator back in 2013. So it has been well over 7 years that I have been using Illustrator. So that's why I have become to certain level fluent in designing. Okay, so that's why you will take some time, you will take your own time, you will not just learn in one day. Okay, it's not like that. You will not learn in one day, you will not learn in one day. So just take your time, experiment, try to reproduce, recreate, replicate whatever you feel like, and see how all these things turn out. You can make changes yourself, because the designing is very graphical. You see the things you're doing live, but in coding you have to know certain syntax or something like that. For designing it's very straightforward. Anyone can do designing, but not everyone can do coding. Okay, it's alright. I also started out from zero. I didn't know nothing about designing. I started out from zero. I knew nothing about designing, nothing about making icons or something, or even working on Illustrator. I learned on my own, because I had very poor internet connection back then. There was only 2G available, and there was also no resources on YouTube to learn something like that. Okay, that is actually true. This video actually taught you so many things, from making an icon, giving different layer, different positioning, different layers, creating the grids, okay, and saving in a file structure. This thing taught you about everything, a lot of things actually, about the icon designing aspect. And I'll be doing more of these videos. Okay, next videos I'll do something like trying to designing or replicating the nebula icon. Okay, and try to replicate one and see how these things turns out, because I haven't yet tried out that part. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. So I guess we're currently at the 2-hour mark, and today we have discussed a lot more than our usual previous classes. So thank you everyone for joining. So that's the end of the class, I guess. Okay, thank you everyone. So I'm ending the class right now. Okay.